Live on the mics. Here we go. Here we go.
Son. And my grandfather's grandson.
Who's doing the opening?
Chris.
I am.
Okay. All right. And 5, 4, 3.
Welcome, everyone, and pull up a seat at the table. It's lunchtime in Rome. Tonight's episode 259 is titled Hurt Lens, Blind Spot Part 2. In episode 257, we talked about the blind spot. Now we're expanding on that idea and renaming it. That's what we're talking about at the table this evening, so please pull up a seat and join us. First-time listeners can subscribe on your favorite podcast app or watch us live or later on YouTube at Lunchtime in Rome. Visit us at lunchtimeinrome.com, and while there, take our relational needs questionnaire. Make sure to follow us on all social media, and it would be great if you could give us a 5-star review. Jay, what's this podcast about?
Being alone is the worst. Good times aren't as good, and bad times are worse when you are all alone. Romans 12:15 says to rejoice with those who rejoice and mourn with those who mourn. That is how you keep people from being alone, and what this podcast is all about. We demonstrate that in the first 15 or so minutes of the podcast, and we talk about it for the rest. So while it may not be 12:15 in Rome, we're treating it like it is lunchtime in Rome. Man, we get rid of Brian, and we get back to being perfect.
That felt really in sync.
That was good.
Mary Lynn's not only at the head of the table, but she's also at the table.
Yeah.
I thought Brian sounded different tonight.
He does.
Just a little.
So I was listening to the Nate Land podcast.
I've heard of it.
Which is a great podcast. It's very fun.
Clean.
That's
Clean.
Nate Bargatze, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
4 comedians, Nate Bargatze, Aaron Weber, Dusty Slay, and
Brian Bates.
And they all get together, and sometimes they swap out for other comedians depending on who's available. But those are the 4 main
So Mary
guys.
Lynn's Greg Warren. Mm-hmm. No, she's...
Is that good?
God, go on.
Yeah, that's good. You want to be Greg Warren. He's very funny.
Leanne Morgan.
Leanne Morgan, yeah.
You really want to be Leanne Morgan.
Is yes. And she would just be so much fun to hang out with.
Cool. Bless her heart.
I mean, yes, she's Southern, and she's just matter of fact about stuff, and just so funny, and like unintentionally funny. You know what I mean? Like that.
And intentionally funny.
and intentionally funny, but like she's just like she's even funny when she's not trying to be funny.
Correct.
And speaking of her episode, it's one of the recent ones. I think it's 2 episodes ago about etiquette. And
It's actually just last week.
But I think there's a new one out.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, but I thought it was kind of an interesting topic, and I thought it might be fun for us to do at some point. Because I was thinking, because they were talking about like on a plane, who gets
the armrest?
Who gets the armrest? Should you lean back? And I'm a guy, because I have a high need of acceptance, that I wouldn't want to put my seat back because I don't want to upset the person behind me, and I don't want to be that guy,
Do you take food onto a plane?
Yeah, how many tuna sandwiches do you eat?
It's egg salad. No, if I bring food on the plane, it's going to be practically odorless, whatever it is. And I'm not ordering salmon or whatever if there's a meal,
What are they serving? Salmon.
I don't know.
But so is the question, if in your case, like, are you going overboard with etiquette? Is that what you're...
No,
I'm just saying, like, for me, I would want to be polite because I have a high need of acceptance.
Yeah.
Or Jay might treat somebody in a way because the way that he would want to be respected because he has a high need of respect. You know what I mean? So I just thought it might be an interesting topic for us to go through.
Well, also, there's another podcast, far less clean, I might add, that I've talked about before called Are You Garbage? And there's these 2 guys who are from the greater...
Garbage is by definition dirty.
Yes. But 2 guys from the greater Philadelphia area, now they're in New York, and they interview people, and they ask them questions about growing up. Like, and we actually had an episode sort of based on this, but like, did you have any carpet in your bathroom growing up? Did you have the cushy seat in your bathroom?
Yeah.
Anybody in your family ever represented themselves in court? Things like that. So they
Actually,
had this...
Dusty Slay was on one of their episodes.
Yes, he was. It was unbelievably
I recommend
good.
that episode, yeah. Yeah.
But they had an etiquette lady on, but they had like a table set up. Like she's this famous etiquette teacher.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And that was and they went over everything from tipping to, and she said etiquette, correcting somebody else's etiquette is bad etiquette.
Oh.
Okay.
We had a class on that in the Army. Protocol.
I'm sure you would.
A class on etiquette is not against
Protocol.
or it's not
No,
bad
that's good etiquette. That's good
etiquette.
teaching.
Yeah.
Saying.
But yeah, I think it's a good idea even just to go over the things they went over and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
How do you call the server over to tell them you want to pay?
How did I do it?
No, but I mean, that's one of the questions.
Yeah.
And we could do like, how does bad etiquette affect people's emotional needs too?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
where's it hitting?
Yeah.
Good looking,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I thought it was fun. I don't really have anything. The only thing is I mean, things.
Man knows who he is.
I mean, it's pretty. I will say, and I don't know if you're going to talk about it, Jay, but we had outdoor service on
Was not.
Sunday, and it was great. I thought it was so fun. I made brisket that people
you
complimented
didn't
me on.
like?
I thought it was fine. Like, it wasn't, because I mean, I've been to Texas. I've had Texas brisket. Like,
Wait, I thought you made the homemade bread.
I did that too.
I didn't know you did both. Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. And down in Texas, traditionally they give you your brisket however much you want in weight.
On a piece of white bread.
Well, they give you they'll give you as much bread to match how much brisket. So sometimes, like if you're ordering for a whole family, they'll give you like a loaf of bread. It's heaven.
And a slice of pickle.
Yeah, but I did onion.
Yeah.
And no, but it was good. And looking forward to this weekend. Not going to say what we're doing, but it's Amy's birthday because she'll listen to the podcast. And it's somewhat of a surprise.
Oh, well,
nice.
very well
Fun.
almost ruined that. Didn't know it was a surprise. Did not know.
I mean, she knows we're going. We're out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still almost ruined it. Didn't know it was a
Sure,
surprise.
sure. But I feel like she probably knows. She definitely doesn't know where we're going to eat.
Right. Which stripper? You know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, America.
I didn't say male or female. Hey, I want to take us all over the place. Today's podcast will be a little bit shorter in content, so the opening period might be a little bit longer. But my life right now is so up, I don't say up and down, but serious to comical is the only way I can put it. Dealing with some really intense stuff with people's lives and then coming home at night to fight raccoons.
Yeah, there's some things really like digging at your nerves right now. Right?
Literally and
Yeah,
figuratively,
yeah.
the nerves of my grass. And people correcting us in that we should let them live and be in harmony with nature. And we're like, oh, I'm sorry. We weren't asking for your opinion on how. But anyhow, this very evening, I had the exact same thing, from very serious to very jovial. And I will explain to you. We started our Grief Share follow-up, which is for the people who are in Grief Share. Most of them are still struggling, so we're going to meet. And
So this is like months ago. You're just sort of like
we finished in May.
a meetup.
And
Yeah.
so now we're going to meet every other week again because people are struggling. And somebody who
Nice.
sits at the table with us that I dare say should very soon be sitting at the head of the table. So challenges out there
Oh, nice.
because I'm now going to quote her. So this is Dawn, our good friend Dawn. And I know she sits at the table with us and actually recommends it to other people. This is the 1-year anniversary of her mother's death. So not only was it the first night of Grief Share follow-up, but it falls on the 1-year anniversary of her mother's passing.
Yeah, I hate that.
And she read something she put on Facebook. And this, to me, is profound. And so here's what she wrote. She said, "Grief for me is sort of like a drunk friend. She is clumsy and prone to outbursts, but she needs cared for and protected. Grief is personal and there are no rules. And what I thought I knew of grief was so far from what she actually is."
Did she wrote that?
She did. Grief is like a drunk friend. You don't want it around, but gosh, I can't get rid of it. Got to hold its hair while it pukes into the
You can't just
toilet.
let it drive home.
It's part of what you love in a sense. Like it's a grief over something you love, right? So it's like there's a connection to it, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
You
and
can't
it's right
just
there.
get rid of it.
It's not leaving.
Right. Yeah. It's not getting any social cues.
No, I thought that was a brilliant
You can
observation.
put that in your next book.
Yes, we'll get to that. So, point number 2, I then leave that meeting and I go to a Penn Hill Sports Hall of Fame meeting where they tried to yell at me for not getting my bio in on time. And I told them, yeah, I didn't do it. Shut up. So, I was explaining my battle with the raccoons. And Matt Brash, who is the president of the Penn Hill Sports Hall of Fame, he said, I live out, he said, North Huntington, Norwin area. And I had a raccoon that was actually eating away at my porch, like at the soffit fascia and into the insulation.
Wow.
Because it was when it got cold. And he was trying to burrow its way in. And he goes, and I called my buddy, and he said, hey, listen. He goes, I'll come over and take care of it. And he goes, no, you can't come over and take care of it. I know what you're doing. He goes, no, I have silent shotgun shells. And he's like, that sounded weird, but I was like, okay, whatever. He goes, so the next night, there it is, 11 o'clock at night, scratch, 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 scratch. So I called my buddy, and he's like, I'll be over in 5 minutes. And he goes, he comes over, and sure enough, he had that shotgun, pointed it right at the raccoon, and boom! And I yelled, hey, you said it was silent. He goes, you never would have let me do it if I told you it wasn't silent. And he goes, I felt so stupid that I even believed it. And he goes, next day, he goes, my neighbor comes over to me, and I'm like, oh, boy, here we go. And he goes, so I heard you got the raccoon, I guess, huh? He's like, good job. Isn't that a great story?
That's a great story.
I love that just where you are right now, Jay. You're like,
That's my life,
raccoons. Is just, they're invading.
I was like, can you get me some of them
story.
silent shotgun shells? He goes over here.
You know what's kind of weird is since we got
Politics.
oh gosh,
Religion.
ever since we got the new garbage cans, which are very nice,
Very
love
nice.
Don't jinx it. Don't
But
jinx
we
it.
actually we keep them in the garage now. We made room so we could have them back in the garage because we got a new shed and all that. Anyway, so we don't have this problem anymore. But when we got the new ones, that's when we started having problems with animals getting into the garbage.
Really?
That's so weird.
But here's the thing. I've never, and we have cameras set up around the house, I've never seen a raccoon on the camera.
I think it was Brian.
They're all at Jay's house.
Yeah, they're at my house.
Yeah, they left.
And I get so mad though, because like you like go out and like there's just garbage all over the yard, and
Really?
you're like, I'm like, oh, like it's so
It's
infuriating.
the kid
It's the kid.
that was knocking over your garbage cans.
Yeah.
I was just
From the
emptying
kid.
them.
No, he's just
Dylan? No, what was it?
I can't remember.
It don't matter.
What's funny is I used to have tons of problems with the raccoons and garbage cans, and they haven't gotten into this one.
Yeah. See, that's
They've
weird.
torn up my yard.
Yeah.
But
They're
I've
busy.
covered that.
Yeah,
They're
these are
busy.
pretty. The new ones are pretty heavy duty, and the lids
I know.
Are, I wouldn't call them heavy, but for a raccoon, I would think they're heavy.
Yeah. I
That's
don't know.
weird.
So in regards to the book, I haven't given an update in a while,
Oh, yeah.
but I think I shared that a publisher wanted to look at it and just said, give him a month or so. And so a month went by, and so I emailed him 2 Fridays ago. And then a week went by, and I emailed him last Friday. And my brother knows the guy, and he goes, I'm meeting with him on Wednesday today. He goes, so don't do anything else. I'll talk to him. So this very afternoon, early evening, my brother met with the guy. And then Tommy texted me. And he said he wants me to know it's still in the review process, and he
Okay.
apologizes for not returning my email.
Okay.
Sit
Okay.
there. So I replied to Tommy. I said, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I said, he said a month or so. I guess he was leaning a lot more heavily on the or so. I said, did he happen to give you a time frame?
A month or so.
That's where we are.
All
I
right.
don't like it.
2 weeks.
Marilyn is anti or so. But it's better than a no, better than a, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, we never even looked at it or anything like that.
Sure. Yeah.
So again, what does the review process mean? Still sitting on Marty's desk? I don't know. I mean, they said they've got different levels. Like it's got to pass the first level, and then it's got to go to the second level.
right,
whatever
right.
else.
We don't know where it is.
I think he lost the file.
Theoretically, it's on a level somewhere.
Yes, Eric.
Well, I just want to bring it to the emotional need part. So, because I mean, when you email somebody, you at least want to get something back.
You would hope.
So, I mean, like you're thinking like that would hit you in the disrespect
Sure.
for the most part.
Oh no. Also belonging in that, like, oh, maybe it's not even good enough for you to respond to.
Yeah. Okay.
But like I said to Rachel Porter, the owner of Christian Editing and Design, the company that I hired to do stuff, I've never run a publishing company, and I don't know what this guy's life looks like.
Sure.
You know, and I was a little bit dismayed, like, well, even if he does pick it up, if this is how we're going to operate, except
Right.
if they do pick it up, I'm sure he's not going to be my project manager.
That was going
Right.
to be my question. Is
So-
who's his administrative assistant?
So, hey, it is what it is. In the great words of Joe Mitlow, God's got a plan, and I'll be fine.
Joe Mitlow.
Joe coming to you, providing a little, I don't know, would you call that comfort? Is he coming alongside you
Oh,
there?
he didn't tell me that. I'm using his words. He said that about himself
Oh, okay.
in regards to
You're quoting
Life.
him.
Yes.
In life, yeah.
Yes, which he's reflecting what I've taught him. It's just that he finally said that at ROTC training, which I shared that, but you weren't here.
He's on the fast track to the wise old sage.
Yeah, he is.
He really is. Well, and I mean, even he was just like, I've come to realize there's not much I can control. And I said, as long as you don't completely detach, and then when there's something you can control, you go, what are you going to do? You know, that's a good way to be.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. I'll go. I'm tired. And I know, Eric, you were, well, you didn't say it on pod, I guess, but you were just talking about how busy you've been.
Busy and like not last night, but the night before, I didn't sleep well.
Yeah.
And
That's brutal.
yeah, and I woke up this morning really tired. Everybody was tired in the house today. Maggie got up like not cranky, but like she was just tired.
Like a kid going to school.
yeah. I mean, she's So yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just having, I mean, listen, my health never been better. So, you know, I'm
Going
going to
on
get sick
10 days
tomorrow.
now.
I know.
Isn't it funny though when you don't have it?
How
When
good
you're sick? Like what else?
Your point is when you all of a sudden aren't sick anymore.
Oh.
You're like, oh, I feel like great. I'm
I know.
singing from the mountaintops.
What else matters?
Yeah, I know.
Being
So,
tired. That matters.
well, it does. And it's just like one of those weeks where, it's so busy. Like school has been really, really good. Love my classes.
There's a lot going on in your
Oh,
district.
that's good.
There is a lot
There's
going
a
on.
lot going on.
There's an emu running the streets of McKeesport, apparently. Have you seen that story?
I saw a headline about that.
yeah, some weird.
Wow.
I don't know. Apparently, there's an emu
That's the inner city ostrich.
farm. Yeah, that's right. That's yeah.
The inner city ostrich.
They're
somewhere.
mean.
I guess don't. Yeah, let it run. Let it go. Let it. It owns the streets now. But
They carry
yeah,
guns.
there's just. I don't Google. No, you can Google McKeesport School District.
There's a lot
There's all
going
kinds of
on
stuff
down
going on. But just like in my little,
It's going
world,
great.
It's going great, except that. Oh well, there's a meeting in the morning,
Yeah.
and there's a meeting after school, and there's a million classes in between. I'm having a day right now where I'm like, well, this is never gonna. There's no breaks. This is never gonna stop. So if I come off as a little like I don't know, like my brain's a little wired tonight, like I'm just a little. That's why. But otherwise, I'll tell you,
It sucks to be fried.
yes, fried is a good word. Although I don't. Whatever. I'm gonna keep talking both sides of the fence if I keep going because I'm like,
Yeah, 'cause you're not fried
but
at
I feel
all.
so good. But I don't know. Yeah.
Do you have trouble bouncing back? Because that's my new thing is
After being sick.
after being tired, because I don't like that.
I feel like I'm always on an energy roller coaster though. So I don't know. Does that mean I have trouble doing it, or does that
Oh, it
mean
sounds
I
like he has
just
trouble regulating.
do it all the time? Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I'm constantly like, wow, today is like I'm so tired, and now I just feel great this day, and yeah. So I don't know. I'm completely irregular. That's,
Well, that's another issue. little brand.
Well, how are you, Mary Lynn? You haven't been sick, have you?
No.
Are you regular?
Well,
Chris?
I drove to South Carolina
Yeah, you did. What
on
a friend.
Saturday.
Oh yeah.
To go
And
be
then
there
came
with-
back
to
on
be there for somebody.
Monday.
Drove to South Carolina to help somebody.
And it wasn't even
On
the
your own?
beach. Yeah,
No.
all by myself.
That's a long trip.
The
It is a long trip.
Monday was the long day. You know, the middle of West Virginia.
Ugh. Got in a fight with a hotel.
I try. Yeah, so it's taken me a little bit to bounce back from driving 1,000+ miles in
Tell
2.5
the
days.
story of the hotel.
Car lag.
The hotel, Hampton Inn.
Not to name names, but
I
go on.
won't say which one.
There you go.
Wow, we were just about to get them as a sponsor.
I know.
I sat down to do some typing, and I noticed some ladies' makeup on the comforter on the right side of the bed where I usually sleep. And I was like, oh, gosh. And I had already carried...
Like a stain or
Yeah, like somebody went to bed
okay,
and
not
didn't
like
wash.
like a thing, a stick of
It was
lipstick.
beige. It was like
Yeah,
foundation.
Yeah, gotcha.
So I was like, I already brought my stuff up from the car. let me look at the
You're
left.
by yourself.
And I was like, let me look at the left side. And it was clean. I was like, it's one night. It's good enough. So I got takeout for dinner.
Well,
and
what'd you get?
Mexican. It's right next door. $8.50. Quesadilla, taco, rice and beans.
Portable
I know. You got to love where I
Margarita
was.
to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you
So
go.
I thought, you know what? I'm going to stop at the front desk. Just let them know for the next person, just in case they might want to wash the comforter.
Check it out a little bit. Yeah.
So I went in the front door, stood at the front desk. Do, 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 do. It was about 5 minutes. I was looking at those
Woof.
Diet Cokes across the way. I was like, I bet if I wanted a Diet Coke, they'd come out and talk to me.
Now, had you already checked out?
No, this was
Night one.
Saturday night.
This is the night.
The night.
Got it.
I've noticed lately, I've had to wait in hotel lobbies, and I'm like, well, they must be helping someone or whatever. But no, I'll wait 5 minutes, and then I'll hear something in a back room. Is that what happened to you? And I'm like,
Guy comes out looking
Hello?
at it.
I got
He's
tired.
looking at his phone as he's walking.
right?
And it's like,
no idea you're there, but they're
the
not
worst.
really interested in helping. Sorry.
That's okay. I got tired waiting. I thought, you know what? I'm leaving tomorrow morning.
Let the next person complain.
And you know what? They were sold out that night. They're going to, that's my new thing.
You're just trying to help. If they don't want your help.
It's good
fine.
etiquette.
Somebody once told me never take the first room they offer you.
Interesting.
I don't think I've
Why?
ever not.
Me neither. I'd love it. You're going to be in room 157. No, I will not.
I don't think so.
Say nay.
No, first you have to go investigate.
Have you ever gone into a room where there was people in there?
No.
Oh, I've had that happen.
Wow.
Oh, that's awkward.
It's awkward.
I got in the wrong car once. It was last
Wasn't
week.
even an Uber.
Everybody has these white cars that look like my car.
Oh, so you really thought it was your car.
I was working. I was on a home visit. And I opened up the front door and I was like, I don't keep pink hairspray in the driver's side door.
How weird that it was
And it was
nobody
unlocked.
was in it.
Nobody
but it was
was in
unlocked.
it. It was
Yeah.
unlocked. I was like, ah! I just jumped out, slammed the door. I was like, where
You
did
actually
I park?
sat down. You got in.
Oh, yeah.
That's great.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So, I don't have pink hairspray in the driver's side door.
Gosh.
Oh, yeah. Good times.
That's amazing.
Well, I'm glad, Mary Lynn, that you are with us
I'm glad to be here.
in person. We're grateful for you, for Larianne, for Bethany, for Ashley, and for Breaking 90. All are sitting at the head of the table, and there's still room. There's still room for more.
Ton of room at the table.
Dawn's going to be signing up soon. So you just have to go to lunchtimeinrome.com and become a paid subscriber. Shortly after that, you will receive your merch pack. Chris, how's that coming? We haven't had you in a couple weeks.
Yeah, no, we haven't. It's I was really starting to move on some ideas, and then COVID set me back. So
You're right there.
I was right there, and now I gotta start. It's like starting from square one.
Right, the file just emptied. Gosh, that's too.
The file got a virus, if you will.
Oh,
Yeah.
you got a little ivermectin for
Give
the
me
file.
till October 13th. I'll start
You
working
bang
on
it out right after that. So we spoke, as Chris said in the intro, about the blind spot, that there is something that happens when you are in conflict, when something is going wrong that you don't even know is there, but it distorts your ability to see things clearly. The fact that, there's always three sides to every argument. There's your side, their side, and the truth. Well, why can't we just see the truth? So what is it? It's this blind spot that you have. So if you haven't already, bookmark episode 257, go back and listen to it. But the characteristics, really are just that we don't know that it's there. And so therefore, we are sure of what we're seeing. We're sure this person is being this way. We are sure that this has happened or that has happened, and that's the motivation. And yet, we're not even aware that there's this blind spot, that we used to call it that. The fact that it distorts our view. We're not seeing it clearly and or blocks the view. It's not something in the forefront of our brain. We're not like, I'm going to look at this a little bit wrong. I'm sure I'm not perceiving this correctly. But it's a learned behavior in the back of our brain from unmet needs or places where our hurts go that manipulate the way our five senses perceive a situation. Beyond that, it certainly leaves us vulnerable. Because, I mean, don't you want to know that, like, you've got all the facts in line?
Yeah. And you want to be able to trust your brain that you are perceiving, like, well, this clearly happened, right? But maybe not.
Or it's not exactly, again, it just distorts it. It isn't, it may or may not block it.
It's perception.
It's perception.
I mean, we've talked before about things are filtered through your past hurts. Is this the same, similar?
I would say so.
Okay.
Marilyn, you had an observation about episode 257.
I loved it. In fact, I listened on the way down.
Oh,
And
South Carolina.
Yeah. And first, I was thinking of rose-colored, the expression about you see things.
Yeah, right.
It's like when you're at the beach and you're like, your sunglasses, you're like, oh, am I too tan? But then you take off your sunglasses and you're not near as
Ooh,
tan
I was
as...
going the other direction.
But wait, that's next.
Oh, okay.
So, but listening to you...
That's good, but no.
That was good. But listening to you guys talk, I thought through life experiences, past hurts, it's like we have gray colored glasses. Or I was thinking of the kind of transition lenses that when you go from inside to outside,
Foster Grays.
They get darker.
Yeah.
Wasn't that what they
And-
were called? Foster Grays?
I don't know.
I don't know that either.
But if you look at what I've been through in my life and someone who I might be having a conflict with, what they've been through in their life, we're each looking through different shades of glasses.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good way to...
And it kind of helped me to understand emotional needs visually. Like learning styles and taking words, all these words about hurts and experiences, and it made it more observable.
Yeah. Like your like in a moment that something sets you off, your transition lenses have darkened more, and you're not seeing it clearly, and or they've darkened to a different degree than the person you're talking
Yes.
to, and so you're
And they're going,
you're
"What's the big
each
deal?"
seeing, you're seeing
You're
the
like, "Look how
same
dark
thing,
this
but
is."
you're really not.
Right.
Yeah.
And theirs might be either
Yeah.
totally clear or dark in a different way.
Ooh, a different shade.
Yes. So
Yes.
yes.
You're like, look at this red. They're like, okay, purple.
Well, and then you got the whole. Well, that's another podcast.
Ooh, teaser. By the way, Foster Grants. Foster
right,
Grants were the
all
first
right.
to
I
do
was. Oof, I can sleep tonight.
that. I know. You've already
That's
had
good
enough trouble.
considering, yeah.
Yeah, you need a good.
That's
night's
what it's
sleep.
been.
What?
You just didn't know Foster Grants. Monday night, you just slept like
That's
a
what it
baby.
was. Yeah.
See?
Ah,
Oh man.
problem solved.
So rather than calling it the blind spot, that is a characteristic of it, but it is the hurt lens.
Yeah.
It is distorting, it is changing the way we see things. And so in some ways it's even greater than that because it makes us see things that aren't even there.
Oh.
So you're
Or
sitting there
you
going,
don't see what the other person sees.
also true, but let's stick with the first part.
Okay.
Which is it may cause you to see something that isn't there. So like right there, you might say, oh, he thinks so little of me that he interrupts me and he has such a low opinion of me that he corrected me. And it's like, no,
Yeah, did you hear him completely shoot me down? Yeah. Yeah.
it's not there at all. That's your perception of it because you're looking through because nobody ever gives Mary Lynn credit. Nobody's ever said she's good enough. Nobody ever said she was smart enough.
Jay, you're being really mean.
People pointed out that she got a B in trigonometry years ago.
Did you?
I did.
But the next time she took math will be the next time she takes math. But the point is,
The next time I take math, I will get an A.
I'd love that. Yeah.
that hurts so bad, by the way. You hit like a little funny spot right there.
That was my ring.
Yeah, I know. I'm well aware of it. But it can also enlarge the perception of what is there or the magnitude of what is there. So while I could I could agree, it was disrespectful to interrupt Mary Lynn and redirect the outline or whatever else. But where my intent was here, Mary Lynn sees it as way up here.
like magnified.
And then-
Everything.
because why?
The hurt lens.
Yeah.
But why is the hurt lens? Because of previous hurts.
Past hurts,
that
yeah.
we're now looking through,
Right.
which comprises the hurt lens.
The foster grants.
Yes.
Got it.
It is so, like, we've talked in recent episodes, not 257. I was not here for that one. But, you know, that we've been doing the series of, what do we call them? Like the this versus that.
Destructive patterns.
Thank you. Destructive patterns.
Conflict between parents and adult children.
Those ones, yeah. Those are things that we may each be involved in one of those, but not necessarily. This, however, today's topic, this is something we all have. Like, anybody listening, please do not sit there and be like, "Oh yeah,
Those people are
those
terrible."
people are the worst that see through their past hurts." No, this is like how the human brain works.
Did we talk about seeking understanding in
that episode?
Yeah.
I would argue no.
Okay.
Why do you say that now?
Well, I was just, a lot of that's one of the things that we talk consistently about when we talk about emotional needs, and I feel like
Or conflict resolution. To seek more than just emotional needs.
right.
Because
Yeah.
in conflict resolution
Right.
is don't seek to be right and don't seek to be forgiven.
Right.
Seek to understand the impact of your words or your actions.
Right.
So in a conflict like that, but that brings up a really good point back to you guys going on your marriage intensive.
Uh-huh.
If all you're doing is looking through your hurt lens, it's very one-brained.
Right.
This is the way I see it. This is my perception. This is what's going on.
Right.
All the way back to Eric, your brilliant point when we were doing, or was it? No, it might have been yours. No, Chris is getting a double bonus point.
Could be me being brilliant for once.
I would never.
When there is a conflict between you and your wife, it's we have a problem we've got to figure out.
Right.
Not you've got a problem that you've got to fix. So if we're just looking one-brained, we're only going to see it through our lens.
Right.
But
And often stubbornly insist that, well, that's the way
my
it
lens is the only way to look
yeah.
through this.
I mean, clearly this is what it is. Yeah.
Not to discount the impact of any conflict on you, but to not enlarge it to more than it is.
Right.
You still feel the way you feel. That's fair. Because
Right.
it's the old hurts that haven't been healed being, amplified by the current hurts.
Right.
But that's not fair to dump it all on them because they just gave you this much hurt.
Right.
But it's been magnified by, through the lens of your past hurts. But Eric, to your point, if I'm looking through my lens and I go, wow, that was really, you didn't give me the attention I deserved or whatever else. But if I seek to understand, I go, and we talked about this with, gosh, what was the name of the episode? Where we'd say, I perceive this way. Tell me why that isn't your intention. Oh. Instead of saying, hey, you just hurt my feelings.
Right.
Right.
You say, no, I know you don't mean to hurt my feelings.
Right.
So help me to understand, seek to understand.
Right.
That could have been what the episode was called.
Could you reverse my lens so that I can see it clearly?
Right.
Which is getting too complicated in the analogy.
Well, and we've talked about that too in the realm of being open, honest, and vulnerable. Like if you are the one hurt, it's okay to seek understanding in reverse, I guess, in a way, right? Like you are saying, listen, here's how
that
you
is
made
an
me.
unbelievably mature thing to do.
Right.
But it's very helpful. Because ideally the person that hurt you should be saying, oh, wait, did I hurt you? But help me to understand how I hurt you. Well, nobody does that. So I know it wasn't your intention, and I value your friendship, Chris. Help me to understand why you said what you did, because seeing things through my hurt lens, and now the person's looking at you like you're nuts. You say, because it impacted me this way. And they might go, I don't care. And then you're like, now we're here. Now we're here. Or they may say, and again, we all know what they're going to say. Oh, I didn't mean it. Then you're like, all right, we've gotten nowhere. So it makes us see things that aren't there. It enlarges the perception of what is there. And lastly, at least for tonight, it blocks us from seeing the solution. Mm-hmm. Because we get caught up in the way we're seeing things. We're not going to that second brain, which, by the way, one brain is you only care about yourself. Two brains is you're considering the other person. 3 brains as you're going, God, what's going on here? How do you see this right now? Yes, Mary Lynn.
I have a question, which is some people, I'm going to say sometimes I think men are better at this.
Oh, boy.
Not, but I know one
Probably
woman who I
true,
care a lot about. They're good at compartmentalizing, where other people don't. One of the don'ts. But I was
Define
thinking,
compartmentalizing.
just we're dealing with this. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I would need
like a single-mindedness.
Not bringing up like another issue from the past or something.
Yeah, partially.
Okay.
But it's just people that are able to put something right here, right now, and that's it. I think that feeds into this somehow, but that was in my brain as you were talking.
Are you saying, and I'm not,
I don't know. Yeah.
we're discovering together.
Right,
There's
right.
no, but so are you saying that in a conflict, is their lens less bent because they're only looking at, but see, I would argue those people are shutting out stuff
Yep.
from their past
Yeah.
and saying, no, I'm only looking at this right now. When in reality, I find that to be virtually impossible because you're only going to value certain things of something because of your past.
It's a tricky. It's probably another episode.
Now,
Yeah.
but it's also would go to if you're not aware of your emotions, you'll be manipulated by your feelings. So if somebody is very compartmentalized, like, no, I only want to talk about the fact that you didn't respect me. Like, that's the only thing I'm concerned with. That's compartmentalizing. And that's a very mature way to go about, like, I'm not offended by this, or this, but I was hurt by this. So it's one of those things
I
where
got to
you're like,
think. Yeah.
gosh, what was the phrase? All right, never mind.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean
No,
to derail,
no.
but
It was
that
like an
was
80s.
kind of.
No, that's what we're doing here. Because right now, somebody is sitting at the table with us going, I know exactly what she means. Well, later they are.
Tell us what Mary Lynn means.
So what are the ramifications of the hurt lens? It causes more problems because you already have a problem, but you're not looking at it clearly. So that's going to cause more problems.
Right.
And it causes bigger problems.
It's like when you're driving in the car and it's defogging and you can't see and it's nighttime and you're just trying to drive and you're not seeing.
I was thinking the bug splatter, which do you then put the windshield
right
wiper on?
in your line of sight.
How is it always there?
Every time.
It happens.
They know where to die.
Yeah. They're
They're in
aiming for you,
cahoots with the
actually.
raccoons,
Yeah.
which goes back to the lanternflies. They can't hurt you, but they'd like to.
Yeah.
I had my big thing is like to be chill. Like if it's pouring down rain and I don't have an umbrella, I'm just going to be chill.
Yeah.
I'm just going to walk slowly to the door. And if I got a bug on me, I got a bug on me. Whatever. I was 10 feet into Sam's Club, caught a lanternfly on my shoulder in the corner of my eye. You'd have thought I got shot with a shotgun. Flung it off, chased it down, stomped it out.
Silent.
Turned out I was a kid.
Silent shell, though, right?
Silent shell, silent shotgun
Good,
shell.
Chris. Good way to bring it back.
Also, less reconciliation. I mean, we're going to have more problems, bigger problems, and I guess a lesser chance of reconciliation.
The
Right.
lenses are
You're
going to
just-
get darker and
It's just gonna,
darker.
yeah, it's just going to get more difficult.
Oh, and you got more things to get through now. Because imagine, Eric says something that hurts Chris's feelings, and there's validity in that. But Chris inflames that because of past hurts. So he gives Eric more than he deserved in the original problem. So now, if we're going to get back to square, Eric's got to seek to understand how he hurt Chris in the first place while being mature enough to sift through Chris's amplification of that hurt. And then Chris has to apologize and seek to understand how his overreaction by looking through the hurt lens inflamed the situation.
It's as easy as that.
No chance.
That's hard.
This comes all the way back to like, okay, we are passionate about this and we think it's really the key to good, healthy relationships and everything else. And it's hard. The average person, they're like, what are you even talking about right now? Just leave the house.
It sounds so
Come
complex.
back an hour later and it'll be better.
It sounds so complex, and it is, and it's not easy, but it's also like if you can, like, when I started learning about this, like, I just hung on for dear life to the certain, like, catchphrases that we use that are so valuable. Like, be open, honest, and vulnerable. Seek understanding. Like, those are, in a way, simple concepts. You know what I mean? They're not simple to do.
Right.
It takes a lot of practice.
It's uncomfortable at times.
But it's, like, something that will lock in your brain. And if you can just get yourself to be like, okay, before I jump down their throat, let me seek understanding. Let me, you know what I mean? And,
Right.
Yeah.
And I think, and I may be wrong in this, Jay. You can. No, never. No. But you know, for some people, like it's really difficult to do that. And I think for me, the reason why it's difficult is my high need of acceptance. Because like I don't want to upset them, so like it's hard for me to like, because I always feel like I sound like a jerk. Like even at work, like I'll have Mel like read an email. I'm like, do I sound like a jerk here? And she's like, no, this is like a really nice
The
email.
nicest email. I haven't gotten happy birthday emails as nice as this one.
Yeah, like it's just one of those things where like
So you're saying the reason why we don't seek to understand and the reason why we don't go slow or the reason why we don't communicate hurt?
right, open, honest, and vulnerably because you're afraid that you're gonna like hurt their feelings. This is a total side note, but I'm just
Well, you're go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, it sounds like you're kind of seeing yourself through a hurt lens, too. You know what I mean?
sure,
Ooh.
Well, right, because he hasn't been accepted.
right,
He hasn't been loved, even though he's made a mistake. And so, therefore, he's looking through that saying, I'm looking at this email. Ooh, it kind of looks like I'm being a jerk. And so, your hurt lens is saying, you're not going to be loved if you send this email. And you're not going to be
Right.
forgiven.
right,
And then Mel, with clear eyes, looks through it and says, no, it's great.
yeah,
But the same thing, because you have a high need of acceptance. Let's pick somebody theoretically. I don't know, Brian. Brian may have, hypothetically, a high need for respect.
Perhaps.
So he may not be the least bit interested in being open and honest and vulnerable because he's going, you completely disrespected me in this. The way that you handled this is completely wrong.
Yeah.
I am not going to seek to understand because you did not respect me. So I'm going to shut down and I'm going to walk away.
And at work sometimes do you feel
it's open and honest.
sometimes at work, don't you feel like you have to say something with a bit of either authority or wisdom?
Him?
Perhaps.
He leads
You know,
every email with, I'm sure I'm wrong. And I don't mean to offend you, and I'm not sure why I'm in this position.
But you are,
However.
you are a boss type guy. You've
Yeah.
got,
Yeah.
a team.
Yeah, well, but I mean, like I'm just saying, like in general, like I think people might be uncomfortable sharing something because of a past hurt,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, that's because guess why?
because it hurt.
Because they're looking through a hurt lens.
Right.
Because it hurt.
great. It's great.
Because of hurt. Emotional needs. Love, share, care.
Is the answer Jesus?
Yeah.
Ooh, the hurt mirror.
The hurt
Because you're
mirror.
looking at yourself.
The hurt mirror. Yes.
Let's unwrap that.
What?
I said, let's unwrap that.
Oh, okay.
What does that do compared to the hurt lens?
Well, it's looking at yourself.
I get that.
You see, a mirror.
Well, the hurt lens is looking at a situation with another person.
I know.
The hurt mirror is like looking.
So what impact is it? So they're... Go ahead.
If it were me and I was looking in a hurt mirror, I would think mine would be like probably 100 times worse, maybe, than it was
the situation
in
or you?
reality. My perception is that I did way worse. Like, I made a mistake.
And I've ruined everything.
yes,
Self-condemning.
Yes, when in reality, it might be a light gray kind of a lens.
So, go ahead.
I wonder if certain, the 4 places that your hurts go, I wonder if certain, like if self-condemnation and guilt, well, and fear, maybe all of them except anger, and you can correct me, maybe anger would be included, but like maybe if your hurts go to guilt or fear, like that's, you're more worried about how you are being reflected. Like you're more conscious of, oh my gosh, this email comes off as me sounding like a jerk because my hurts go to self-condemnation.
Well, if you go to self-condemnation or you go to guilt, that is looking at a self. That is looking at the hurt mirror.
Okay.
How
Right.
am
That's what I was
Good job,
thinking.
Eric.
How am I the one that has made this terrible? You're actually a little bit aware
Yeah.
of the hurt lens, but you're just saying, "Oh, it's my fault."
Right.
Whereas anger and fear is, "What are you doing?" I'm
Okay.
looking outward. It's what are you doing to make me feel bad?
Yeah.
Eric, this is brilliant.
Eric.
It was a one-off. It wasn't even the.
So what we're saying is, people who struggle with self-condemnation and guilt, they look in the hurt mirror before they look through the hurt
The
lens.
lens.
Whereas,
And it's a I mean, that's sad. I mean, we're like, it's not, I mean,
it is.
What am I trying to say? It's hard. And I'm sad makes it sound like I'm projecting it on other people, but like my hurts go there sometimes, and it's hard. It's painful. It also completely stops you from looking outward, or I shouldn't say completely stops you, but it's like
it leads
it's another
to
roadblock.
almost a self-obsession.
Yeah.
I don't think people do it all the time, though.
Some people.
Sometimes.
I was going to say it leads to not being open, honest, and vulnerable so that you can have better relationships with other people.
Well, and it goes back to being one-brained.
Right.
I'm hurt and it's my fault,
Yeah,
and
that's
I'm
true.
this and I'm that, and the other person's over there going, "Can I be of any service in this at all?"
Right.
So that's when I was sort of saying it. Like it keeps you from, and it's also sometimes self-protection. It keeps you from being healed because you're more comfortable, and I'm terrible, and everything's my fault. Where like, oh no, I did hurt your feelings, and I'm sorry about that, and you deserve to be feeling okay, and
Yeah. No, I deserved it. Yeah.
right. And it's more woe is me, whereas anger and fear, it's more you're the problem. And so
Woe
those
is
people are
you.
more, woe is you. They're more annoying. They're the problem. But still, we're not getting anywhere in any of these situations.
The lens is still distorted.
Right. Whether it be the funhouse hurt mirror
Oh.
or the catastrophic Instagram filter hurt lens.
The Foster Grants.
Yeah.
Yes. I wonder if they're
All of
still
it.
around. So I wanted to add outside of the outline, I think this applies both, that our hurt lens gets more stronger prescription. I don't know, more concave, more distorted in similar conflict situations, meaning whenever, say you grew up in a home where there was always yelling and screaming.
Okay.
And then your wife comes home and screams and yells.
It's a trigger.
It's sure.
You're going. I'm sorry.
Right.
I interrupted your analogy.
Whereas you could just get really bad news in the mail that's even far worse than somebody yelling next door, or, you know what I mean? But the far worse news in the mail, you're able to process because you're not looking through the hurt lens of the catastrophic event or the similar type event, or you've always been betrayed by friends. Whereas you might be in conflict with the wife, whatever, it'll work its way out. But all of a sudden the boys don't call you on Friday night. That's going to be magnified. So it's consistent. Go ahead.
No, I didn't want to interrupt you. I had a dream the other night. You guys were so mad at me. Yeah, they were so.
Which night?
What's up?
Which night?
The other.
Was it Monday night?
It might have been Monday night.
Okay, never mind. It was Tuesday I was thinking of. Go ahead. No, I'm just kidding.
You son of a gun. But I woke up and I'm like, I don't even know in this dream what I did. Like, there was no storyline in there of what I did or what was. It was just the feeling
of it.
Oh my gosh, they're so upset with
terrible.
me. So upset.
Like
with
you
me.
woke up like you felt.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
Yeah, and
It is
it's
the
it takes a minute to realize when you wake up. Oh, I don't think they're really mad at me.
Yeah.
That was just a dream.
While
Even
while we're on that topic, and to get it further away from tonight's topic, I had a dream in the not yesterday, it might have been Saturday into Sunday, where I had done something wrong, and I think the police wanted to see me or something like that. And then in my dream, I went, no, wait a minute, because I didn't even go there. So therefore, the police really don't want to see me. I'm dreaming. And I realized in my dream that I was dreaming,
I love those things.
but I was still asleep.
What do they call that?
Lucid dreams.
Yeah.
And I've never done that. Like
I've never had that.
So you took your shotgun.
No. I don't have a
you know
silent
what?
shotgun
You're like, I
shell.
can do anything I want.
But yeah, it was just so crazy because
That's
in
so
my dream
weird.
I felt
Dreams
relief
are
that I was
crazy.
dreaming while still dreaming.
Yeah.
Now,
And then I was like, and Chris is such a jerk.
Yes, I knew it.
I knew that.
it's interesting because like in those situations, in those lucid dreams, because they say like when you're having a dream, it's really like only a matter of seconds. But
Oh, yeah.
but it feels like
forever.
an hour or whatever. I'm wondering like if you're in a lucid dream, if it's in like real time then. Yeah.
No, it can't be.
No,
Because
you bounced around, traveled, or whatever.
no, because there's stories about people who had lucid dreams where like they lived a lifetime. And like
oh, that's right.
and they've gotten married and they had
Yeah.
a kid and everything else. And then they're at a funeral for their spouse that died tragically. And then they wake up and it had been a 10-minute nap. And in their mind, it had been an entire
That's-
lifetime.
Something.
It's crazy. Anyway,
And since you were just sharing that, and
Yeah.
I was sitting there going, all right, now go backwards and find where we were when Chris introduced that.
No.
Nope, it's gone.
You thought everybody was mad at you.
We were on the dreams. We
I
were
messed
talking
it
about
up.
the
You see how that
mirror.
happened, Marilyn? I messed it up.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
Okay.
Yep.
The hurt mirror. Oh, so I love climbing
job.
out of rabbit holes.
Nice.
So in similar conflict situations, we will look through the hurt lens more often and it'll be more distorted.
Right.
Whereas what we've been talking about is, but also in similar hurts of like emotional needs. So like, whereas you might not give me comfort and I don't have a high need for comfort. So I'm like, cool, whatever. But you don't give me attention when I really need attention. And that being one of my highest emotional needs and something I have not had historically, now that's going to be a big deal. So it's both in the conflict type and or the emotional need not met or taken from you, which is triggered, I hate the word, but is triggered by the hurts from back in the day. So it's two different ways that we look through a hurt lens.
That could be an episode too. Combinations of emotional needs and types of hurt. Like,
Well, or is it a multiplier?
yeah.
So if you grew up in a household where yelling was scary, and you grew up in a household where you were not respected, so then the wife comes home, screams and yells while not respecting you,
Yeah.
you got no chance at seeing that clearly, except for the fact that she really is not respecting you. So, but not to the level.
Those glasses are going gray, white,
Pink,
dark gray.
back to your rose color. And we
I
never
know.
touched on the fact that you said when you're wearing your sunglasses and you look and you go, oh, I'm really getting tan. And then you're not. And I was going to say how sometimes you look at yourself and you're like, I'm doing fine. And then you're just blistered pink.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe you should use some glasses and distort things to see them as they are. Let's take this one right off the rails, baby.
Well, and I was thinking about you and attention, and I'm like, you're headed for a couple
Oh,
months.
there's a lot of I've got a lot of attention these days, but historically, you were there growing up.
Absolutely.
Not a lot of attention. You had too much. I didn't have
honey.
it. Well, oh honey.
Too much.
Well, like Tommy would pick on you, Mom would ask you to do things, and you would be upset and everything else. But then you were ignored.
No, I wasn't at age 5. I wasn't a child.
It was 5. I thought it was 6. That's still the greatest line ever.
And then she
Marilyn,
cried.
please, you are not. Oh, then she cried. Oh, that's great, Marilyn. You've heard this.
It was
I don't
me,
remember this one.
Tommy, and Kathy was a baby.
I thought Marcy was born because it was 4 under 6.
I thought
You
it
were
was-
there. I was not even in utero.
Well, I only know because I was
You
told.
tell your story, maybe. I'll let you go.
All I know is my mom said we were out somewhere. It was me, Tommy, Kathy, and I was perhaps being a 5-year-old acting up, and she scolded me and she said, "Please, Marilyn, you're not a child." And then
Wow.
she burst into tears.
I never knew that. This is such a great day.
Wait, Your mom?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did
Because
you
she
ever
was
have any-
alone. Because
Okay.
she basically raised us alone.
How
Right.
dare you besmirch our father? He was doing
No.
very important work, maybe in Japan.
That is such, and look how that memory has like, it locks itself in there. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like
yeah.
that's
we
painful.
could do a whole podcast on oldest and youngest,
Yeah.
The outliers.
the outliers. Yeah, because mine
Oh,
is.
that would be an interesting episode.
You know, Mom, don't you care, honey? I
Oh,
can't.
honey.
Yeah.
But I've heard some people say that's a new, like, the parenting trend is now let them go. Like, not to not care about your children, but not get involved. It's the opposite of
Let them
helicopter-
experience
Yeah.
a little.
Coming away from the
Yeah.
helicopter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the number of things we were allowed to do as children. I mean, there's a lot. Today it's helicopter and snowplow parents and all that kind of stuff.
What's snowplow?
Nah, you gotta let them go play in the creek.
Snowplow
Like we did in
parents.
Titusville.
So helicopters, you're always hovering.
Right.
Snowplow is you're paving the way to make their life easier. We learned that at Mercyhurst Orientation.
They're like, please don't.
Yeah, don't be either one of these. Did anybody see, there was on this one Twitter feed or whatever,
No.
it was, I think at Purdue, but it was questions RAs are getting, or phone calls and messages RAs were getting from parents. And how do I reach out? And I need to know the schedule of this and that. And it was delicious. So what do you do with this hurt lens? I will tell you what you do. You go to the outline that we shared in episode 287. It's the same thing, but basically
257.
257, 287. I don't know what
In
that
the
holds
future,
yet. I don't
it
know what
could
it holds
be-
yet.
Yeah.
But
It could be
be
right,
great.
but we don't know.
We'll have merch by then.
Yes. Bold statement there, cowboy. But in general, you want to be aware that it exists. You want to have and be ensure that you have a trusted loved one that you could bounce these things off of and be like, am I seeing this clearly? And actually listening to them, and then not just getting rid of them because they don't agree with you. Seek to, go backwards. Go back to those unhealed hurts. You can still heal no matter how old you are. It's still possible. And yeah, so heal those things and use the tools, blah, blah, blah. All the things none of you people are doing. It's fine. That's my new thing anymore. So
What do you
nobody's
mean, you
listening.
people?
Jay, we
Oh,
can't
listen.
stop trying.
you people. I just mean
No,
people.
The lens.
it-
The lens was a game changer. The blind spot / Foster Grant.
It's like an epiphany for you, Marilyn.
It
I
really
love
was.
I love it.
It really was.
And it works. It'll be an epiphany for more people.
And that's it.
Oh, that was so tentative. And I was like, did I forget something? Am I wrong?
And that's it for episode 259. Join us live next Wednesday at 8:30, 8:45-ish for episode 260. Is there a reason why it's 8:45?
We've been starting at 8:45.
Okay. We could start at 8:30.
Not really.
I'm just saying. Between now and then, please give us a like or follow on social media and visit us at Lunchtime in Rome. While there, take our relational needs questionnaire. Thanks for joining us at the table for Lunchtime in Rome. See you next week.
Bye.
Goodbye.
I don't think I ever realized how hairy Chris's legs are.
Wow, this is weird.
Bye.